It's the luckiest one in the building. The Hood's Pastor, the Hood's Guru, Saturn's favorite nephew. All right. And because I'm Saturn's favorite nephew, it doesn't really matter what type of restrictions or boundaries this reality bestows upon me. I have to be the example, on how to push through. So I hope everybody's finding ways to push through whatever adversity or turbulent circumstances any of you guys may be dealing with. Full moon around the corner. All right, we'll be getting into that tonight. But I want to talk about something specific. Venus is in the air right now. All right, we in Taurus season. All right, so you kind of got to tap onto some love matters. We always got to do that when there's some strong Venus energy in the air, y'all. All right, and I am the luckiest one. I am that Libra nigga. So I got to give y'all some gems about that. But I want to speak about dominant energies really quick in the chart. Y'all know I'm always talking about different placements, all right, that will help you manifest things with love matters, whether it's your 7th house lord, activity with Venus in the chart, all right. But when you just have a dominant energy in your chart, family, when you just have a planet, a sign that's dominant in your chart, anticipate in experiencing the positive and negatives of that energy in your relationship activity. Now, I'm going to do a deeper breakdown on all planets on Patreon, but I just want to focus on Venus and Mars really quick. But this is for people that, like I said, that this is a very dominant energy in your chart. So to be a Mars dominant, this is somebody that has planets in Aries and Scorpio, right? You Aries rising, Scorpio moon, and Capricorn placements as well too. That's Mars exaltation, all right? Your Capricorn moon, Aries sun. You got Venus in Aries, you Mercury in Capricorn, all right? So if you have multiple placements, your Capricorn rising, all right, Scorpio Mars. So if you got like multiple Mars dominant placements in your chart, this is for you. Now, if you're a Venus dominant, all right, Libra sun, Taurus Venus, Taurus rising, Pisces moon. We got to throw Pisces in there when we're talking about Venus, because Pisces is the exaltation place, all right, for Venus. And guys, you have to understand, regardless of, the Venus activity, all right, as far as aspects and what house Venus is in, which is very important when it comes into, tapping into love potential in your life. And when it comes into your 7th house lord, yes, these are prominent placements when it comes into love potential, getting closer to soulmates and more compatible, harmonious relationships in your life of all sorts, whether they're intimate, romantic, or, these are coaches, colleagues, mentors, friends, best friends, okay? And let's start with Mars. If you are a Mars dominant, you will be experiencing the light and dark side of Mars in your relationships. So you have to be aware of green and red flags as to how you deal with this energy in relationships and how you receive it. Now, Mars is not really, interested in relationship activity. And when Mars is dealing with relationship activity, it doesn't change its energy. It's still passionate. All right. It's still aggressive. It's still forceful. So for all my Aries or Scorpio, Capricorn, Mars dominants out there, I need y'all to be able to understand in your relationship energies, you guys are going to have to be careful when it comes into power and controlling people, when it comes into, projectors, when it comes into people that are forcing you to deal with their love language in some type of shape or form. Because if you are Mars dominant, all right, you're going to have a life full of a lot of force, a lot of transformation. There's going to be situations people are forcing you to do things. There's going to be situations where the solution for you is to force and push through something. And you're going to have to learn how to apply that in the most healthy, righteous, calculated way. All right? Mars is calculated, though. Mars, it could be impulsive, but it's calculated, it's intentional. All right? So we got that there. And in the most extreme way, some of you guys can experience very turbulent and even volatile relationships, abusive relationships. Okay, so if I look at a chart, this person's Venus could be, wherever, in Virgo, in Aquarius. But if they're a Mars dominant, they're going to have to look out for these red flags when dealing with people. And the thing that gets tricky here is when you're a Mars dominant in relationships, you're going to want intensity in your relationship. But there's a thin line between passion and abusive influences. There's a thin line between passion, right, and somebody being power and controlling over you. You have to be aware of how you're power and controlling in some type of shape or form, and be aware how other people are pushing this energy on you. All right, guys, I don't need to hear none of my congregation members dealing with some extreme, abusive, volatile situations in their partnerships. For what? Because we should be spiritually inclined enough to identify certain red flags before participating into things and not letting it get that far. Okay, because another thing, when you have a lot of Mars energy in your chart, you're a Mars dominant, you have gained experience in your life transforming things. So you may feel like you can transform somebody else. You could transform the state of a relationship, but we got to learn people are going to be who they are going to be. And people are exactly what they show us to be. All right. So don't let that crave for intensity, depth, a sense of depth and passion that you crave in a connection to be what makes you neglect negative ass traits. All right. Now Venus, all right. Now Venus is a lover. Venus does want to connect. Venus is sensual. Venus does deal with her pleasures. Venus is forgiving. Venus is open. Venus is relatable. Okay. But when you're a Venus dominant, people will love bomb you. You're going to deal with a lot of love bombing. You may manifest some tricks in your life. People want to spend money on you. Now, is this love bombing genuine, or is it to wave Venus energy around you because they know as a Venus dominant, you're weak for the things that make you feel good? And this is how you guys can get into certain issues in your relationships. So yeah, you'll see this natal chart full of Venus energy, right? Libra, Taurus sun, Venus in Libra, Libra rising, Pisces moon, Libra sun. A lot of Venus energy, right? So this person is going to have the influences to charm and disarm. This person is going to be a very relatable person. Shit, this person might have some good skin, you know? But with that being said, family, people will charm and disarm you. If you're a Venus dominant, people are going to charm and disarm you. People will use your pleasures against you. And you can also make the mistake of being a little bit too open in your relationships. And you can also make the mistake that the Mars dominant doesn't deal with, which is selecting people out of impulse because you want to connect and exchange Venus with somebody else. When you have a lot of Venus energy, it's hard to be single. It's hard to honor celibacy. It's hard to honor abstaining. It's hard to honor being single after you just got out of a crazy ass relationship or a relationship in general, and you just need a time to process your feelings, emotions, and your experiences. You understand what I'm saying, family? So I just wanted to touch on the light and dark sides of being a Mars and Venus dominant when it comes to relationship activity. Yes, we have all these different influences when it comes into relationship activity in our life that I'd love for y'all to look at, specifically 7th house Lord, Venus activity with the 7th house Lord, planets in the 7th house. All right. But your dominant planet says a lot. All right. Like I said, I'll be covering the rest on Patreon. We're going to go sun all the way down into the generational planets. But I felt like those is very important because I've seen this to be a reoccurring theme in previous clients. And I'm like, yo, regardless of these placements, sometimes when you just have a planet that's just so active in your chart, it's going to find its way to trickle into everything. I could have spoke about how this applies to career, how this applies to family and home life, how this applies to your individual passions and your intentions and personal aspirations. But Venus is in the air, it's Taurus season, and I wanted to talk about relationships. So once again, I hope everybody's having a fruitful start to the new week. Look at the water. Water look beautiful, right, family? All right, guys, I hope my optimism rubbed off on y'all today. And I'm going to see y'all in church service because we're going to have to dive deep on this full moon in Scorpio. All right, can I get a shake?